After 4 years of working out alone in my dark, unfinished basement, I took the plunge and joined a gym. The gym is like Disney World to me. There are so many options and so many different machines to play on. Unfortunately, just like in the Disney movies, there's always that enticing, tempting apple lying around that leads me down a dangerous path, the thought of using supplements. My desire for supplements grows as I'm standing in front of the full-size mirror, curling my 60-pound barbell, only to look next to me and see a guy curling 90 pounds, sweat beading on his forehead and grunts leaving his throat. My envy increases as I watch the large veins pop out over his curved muscles. When he's relaxed, his biceps stay full, round, and defined. I look down at mine when they are relaxed and notice that they lose their round shape and blend into the rest of my upper arm. I'm not man enough, is all I think when I compare my body to other men around me. I need to be bigger. Just 2 more inches around my biceps and I'll be great. I try to shake these thoughts free. After recovering from my eating disorder, I've worked hard to keep my thoughts in check, but images are more powerful than rationality. I know that even with an additional 2 inches around my arms, I won't be satisfied, but that doesn't stop me from wanting it. My body image issues and my focus on my imperfections will never go away. They are so ingrained into my physique that it's just a part of me now. After 32 years of doing it, I'm pretty good at singling out body parts and picking them apart. I feel ashamed of this, especially since part of my job is talking to students about male body image and how the images we see on television or in the magazines are not what we see with an average man. I know that the guys we do see as models have the genetics to obtain those builds, and they also sacrifice through strict diets, extreme workouts, and most likely supplement use. People tell me I convey a masculine image, one I've worked long and hard to try and achieve, but my eating disordered brain prevents me from seeing my true form. I find myself struggling when other guys contact me and ask how I built up my body, as well as what my workout plans look like. I don't want to send a message that my body is what a trans man can or should look like. When in reality, we all come in various shapes and sizes, like any man in this world. I want to ask them what they feel like their body should look like a certain way. I want to ask them why they feel like their body should look a certain way or to be accepted as a man. But then I click on my website and the pictures I display over the years. I can't help but think my obsession is fueling their desire, just like when I began my transition and I set the goal of looking like my role model, a well-defined man named Lauren Cameron. The focus on my perceived imperfections leads me to understanding how guys get addicted to weights and their supplements. I've been able to keep myself away from the supplements so far, but the thoughts pop into my mind every day. My right hand is constantly edging my computer mouse toward the search button after typing G and C into the box. The battle not to click on the box gets harder with each year that passes because I recognize that the body I want can't be achieved through genetics and hard work in the gym. But I continue to stop myself. I wish it was as easy to stop my thoughts. The trans community in the past has been invisible when it comes to treatment and care around eating disorder awareness and programming. It is changing. I've been going to several national conferences. In fact, I was just at one for the Renfrew Center and in Philadelphia, where we talked about trans individuals and eating disorders. But we still have a long ways to go. To one, have the research to understand what we can do better for the trans community around this, and 2, to break down some of the misperceptions that people have that are providers in the field. One of those perceptions is if a person transitions, then their eating disorders will be at bay, and their body image will be better because they're getting their hormones or they're getting their body aligned with how they perceive it should be, right? That's very harmful statements to make, because with eating disorders, that is a mental illness, right? And a transition can't cure a mental illness. It's not going to take away the thought processes that are there for people, right? Maybe you're able to curb and not engage in behaviors, which was what we primarily focus on with eating disorders, are the behaviors, even though I think that's harmful, right? Food is just a tool used to cope or avoid, right? So maybe you can curb behaviors. Like I've been behavior-free for 12 years from anorexia, right? But the thoughts are still there. So even on the back of my book, there's half of the drawing that I did when I went and saw my therapist that I was working with my eating disorder. This full image, so if you just take this side and put that way, it's a full image. The full image of this I took into my therapist, and this is going to be my eating disordered voice speaking right now. All right, I took this into my therapist because it's very hard for me to verbalize what I was feeling, so I would draw to do that. And I said to her, what I've blacked out on this body represents my fat, which I'm going to put in quotation marks. It's what I define as what does not belong on my body, what I'm trying to rid my body of. What is white with this figure is what I define as my body, what I feel people should see and what I feel I should be able to see and feel in this world. When I was doing this, trans issues was not even on the radar, right? Because this was back in 99, 2000. So when I was doing this, we were exploring and breaking down beliefs versus reality and the word fat and how that's used, right? Looking at this now, though, and looking at my transition, what was happening subconsciously through my artwork is that I was drawing my male identity through the white figure and rejecting my female identity by blacking out the curves that are very natural and smooth curves to feminine forms or figures, right? While my body has changed drastically over the years, I still feel the negative self-talk and the eating disorder talk, and I still feel my body looks like what I've blacked out. Even though, again, it's not rational statements to do, it's ingrained in the brain. So I try to just be in check myself with things that trigger me. So if I'm feeling irrelevant, scared about my job moving forward, feeling like maybe I'm not making an impact anymore, something's going on in my relationship, something's going on with finances, something's going on with my family, I start taking things out on myself. So I'm just trying to be present with those feelings now, right? If we look at other folks in the trans community where you can have anorexia to deal again with anxiety, trying to constrain your body, for trans women having more feminine form, this fear of getting bigger. For trans men having a form of the fear again of being more feminine with the curves, anorexia helps try to control that. Also for trans men, if you get to a point with cessation of the menstrual cycle, that may be motivation for guys. I know for me, that was the coolest thing. That was the best part of the eating disorder. It was like, woo, no menstrual cycle, right? Which is not good for the body, but it was there. When we can look at overeating as well as a way to insulate, a way to try to hide what was seen as your secondary sex characteristics, a way again to deal with just the anxiety and the fear and the loneliness that people have. So we have to do more in exploring relationships that people have and not focusing on the food. I don't think it's helpful to focus on food. We have to focus on the relationships with our own bodies, relationships with those people around us.